Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be unboxing the brand new Xbox One S. This was first unveiled at E3 this year, and it's designed to be slimmer and sleeker than the original Xbox One, plus it supports 4K media streaming, HDR for gaming, and a whole host of other features, all of which we will cover throughout this video. But first, I want to give a massive shout out to the guys over at Xbox for kindly sending this my way so that I can unbox it for you guys. However, we're going to do more than just that in this video. We're also going to be comparing it side by side with the original Xbox One, so you can see just how much smaller this new model is, and we'll also see how they fare up against one another in a couple of other tests too. So if you do enjoy this video, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below and let me know what you think, and also if you're going to be getting one of these yourself, but let's get started. On the front of the box, we of course have the picture of the brand new console in this super sleek robot white. This time standing on its side to illustrate the fact that you can actually do that this time round. This is also the 2TB model, however the Xbox One S also comes in 1TB and 500GB models with price points to match, but do bear in mind that the special stand that helps keep the console upright only comes with the 2TB model. It will however be sold separately if you are buying one of the other models. Then if we spin around and take a look at the side of the box, we have a few product details, again, hard drive size, 4K media streaming, and your ability to play select Xbox 360 games. Moving down inside the box, we of course have the console, a high-speed HDMI cable, the vertical Xbox One stand, a brand new wireless controller, and all the networking stuff too. But that's all pretty standard. And finally, on the back, we have some cool artwork to show some of the current and upcoming titles, ranging from Tomb Raider all the way to Forza. But that is enough of the box, so let's now dive inside. First things first, when you open the lid, you have this handy green leaflet which tells you how to set up the console. Now, I've set up many consoles in my time, so I think I'm good, but it also does show you that you can now stand it upright as mentioned, or you can lay it down. It also shows you how to attach the stand, but I'm going to show you that shortly, and the rest, well, is pretty standard. So moving on to the next box, if we slide this out, this contains our cables and the new controller. First up we have the power cable, and for once this is literally it. No massive power brick, and that's because the power supply is inside the console. So this time, just plug this straight into the back and you are good to go, which will certainly make cable management much easier. You then have the high-speed HDMI cable, always nice to have more HDMI cables, although I probably have a fair few kicking around already. And then finally we have the brand new controller, matching in this nice matte robot white as it's known. This redesigned version also features a texture grip on the back. Now I'm not too sure if that's going to show up on the camera as it's really faint, but it does feel really nice to hold, feels a little bit more grippy. Then the thumbsticks have also been redesigned to try and help reduce wear over time. It's of course the new controller design, so it features a standard 3.5mm headphone jack in the bottom alongside the usual controller adapter. The top however is a little bit different to the regular controllers, the panel behind the home or the Nexus button being white instead of glossy black like it usually is. And then under the hood, this controller also features a Bluetooth adapter that makes it easier to sync with Windows 10 PCs and tablets. Do bear in mind if you do have that, you're going to want to update the firmware for that to take effect. And it's also said to have the most reliable wireless connection with 2 times the range of the older models. Now I haven't personally had a chance to test that, but that is what the box says. Also, if you're not planning on upgrading to the Xbox One S, but you do like the look of the controller, it will also be sold separately if you want it. Oh, and there are of course 2 AA batteries in there too. Now moving on from there, assuming that you bought the 2TB model, then inside this cardboard sleeve you will find the vertical stand plus a 14-day Xbox Live membership, which I totally don't need, so go wild. If any of you want it, then first come first serve. As for the stand, it's in a nice matte black and it has these 2 prongs which clip into the base of the console, but we'll get to that shortly. So finally, what you've all been waiting for, the console itself. This thing looks so nice. I had a chance to see it up close at E3, but finally being able to have it in my own house, it looks super cool. Definitely a huge fan of the white colour. It won't look as dusty as my old Xbox One, which was gloss black and showed up pretty much everything. But if we then take a look at the console itself, on the front you of course have the disc tray, but below that there's now one of the 3 USB ports on the front, so it's much easier to access than where it was on the original Xbox One, which was on the side. Then moving over to the other side, you then have the power button, which is an actual physical button this time, so no accidentally tapping it and turning it off, or if you have a cat, no chance of it walking past and again accidentally turning it off. Or on purpose, you never really know with cats. And below that you have the IR sensor and the controller pairing button, again in a much more accessible location on the front. Then spinning it around to the back you have the power socket, once again no need for the power brick, just simply plug your cord in as you saw earlier. Then moving down you also have the twin HDMI ports, one for out, one for in, for those of you guys that use media or set-top boxes with your Xbox. After that, you then have the remaining 2 USB ports, followed by your relevant audio connections, and an Ethernet port and your Kensington security lock if you want to keep it safe. However, the keen-eyed ones out there might notice one glaring omission. There is no KINECT port, and that is for a very good reason. If you want to use KINECT with this console, you are going to need an adapter. But if you already have a KINECT, you can claim the adapter completely free by visiting the link that you see on screen right now, and for convenience, I'll also leave that link in the description box down below. So for those of you guys that do regularly use your KINECT, you won't have to buy an adapter, you just simply head over to the site and you're good to go. Now, that's pretty much it for the exterior. The final thing is the vertical stand. Again, this only comes with the 2TB model, otherwise you will need to buy it separately. But on the bottom of the console, on the same side as the power button, you'll see these 2 slots just below the black portion, and if you press the stand firmly, these will click in nicely. It's a little bit tough, but that's also encouraging, so you know that it's secure, and then with that done, you can stand it up. Admittedly, the console does still stand up without it, but for peace of mind and security, it's just safer to use the stand. So, with all of that out of the way, how does it fare up against the old original Xbox One? Apologies in advance for the dust, I've had this one since day one, I did give it a clean, but it's still not quite as pristine as this new out-of-the-box S. Either way, the new Xbox One S is 40% smaller than the original Xbox, which also makes it the most compact Xbox to date. When looking at it from both the front and the side, you can quite clearly see the difference, but where it really stands out is when you look at it top down and you can begin to get an idea of just how small this thing is. Truth be told, when it was first announced at E3 and I saw that picture, I didn't actually think it looked that much smaller, but now that you see it side by side with the original Xbox, it really does look tiny. Also, while we're comparing things, this is the new controller versus the old one. True, this is the original day one controller, so it doesn't have the 3.5mm jack, and the form factor is largely the same, but the one minor difference is that the shell on the new model overlaps the top portion where the old gloss black backing of the Nexus button used to be, so it makes the top look a little bit slimmer. Pretty cool. And while we are on the topic of comparisons, let's take a quick look at the brand new Xbox One S side by side with the current model PS4. Of course, the original Xbox One was much bigger, but this one is now a lot more comparable. It's a little bit taller, so of course when you do see them side by side, it does of course protrude over the top a little bit, but as you can see, depth-wise, the Xbox One S is a bit shallower, so it doesn't go back quite so far, which of course makes it easier to go into some tighter setups. And in terms of the actual height or the width, then they are pretty much the same. So what else? You've seen the console, you've seen it side by side with the old model. How about a quick boot test? Both of these are booting from a completely powered down state, and most of my games are installed on an external hard drive which is not connected to either console at this point. So kicking them off at the same time, the Xbox One S does actually get to dashboard a fair bit quicker. In the original model's defense, there are a few things on the hard drive, so that will of course be a contributing factor, but for those of you guys interested to see, then there you have it. Finally, just to return to a point that I made earlier, here is the original model's power button, the touch sensitive one. You simply need to hover over it and it turns on. Meanwhile, here is the new Xbox One S's power button, a physical button with no risk of accidentally turning it on or off at all. And that's it. That is pretty much all I can show you right now. As mentioned, the Xbox One S also supports 4K media streaming, so that's for films and TV, not games. But it also supports HDR or high dynamic range for both videos and gaming. And for those of you guys that are wondering what that is, that basically means that the contrast ratio between the lights and the darks is much greater, so HDR just helps to bring out the depth in colours. There's actually an update that puts that in place, so once I get that all set up, then I will likely follow up with another video comparing games with and without that for you guys to see. But for the time being, that was a complete unboxing, overview and comparison of the new Xbox One S. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, then don't forget to hit that like button and also leave a comment down below. Again, massive shout out to the guys over at Xbox for sending this my way, and thank you very much for watching. Take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.